Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mighty Asian Movie Making Marathon, MAMM17 info session. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that the place that we're gathering and broadcasting from is the traditional, unceded, and ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I'm really excited tonight to welcome you and to tell you all about MAMM. But first of all, for the benefit of those who don't know what MAMM is, let me tell you what MAMM is. So MAMM is VAF's annual short filmmaking competition, celebrating its 17th year, supporting, fostering, and showcasing emerging Asian and mixed Asian filmmakers. The best of 8 teams of 10-minute categories are selected from myriad of video pitches and plus many teams of 1-minute categories. These finalists enter a 10-day filming contest from production to start and to finish after receiving a masterclass level MAMM mentorship, culminating with a screening gala and awards ceremony in August. So I'm very excited that we have other producers and our creative producers, including Joshua Lam, Regina Leung, and Panta Mosley, to tell you more about MAMM, about the prizes, about the MAMM mentorship. I also want to take a moment to thank our previous creative producers, Mayumi Yoshida and Natch Dustadi-Metha, for their contributions in the last 3 years. And right after our info session, we're going to take a short Q&A. So if you have any questions for us, please put them down in the Facebook chat, and we will bring them up and try to answer all your questions. Even more, we have a very, very special guest tonight, Aaron Au, who will give a talk on how to pitch. Sorry. Yeah, so it will give you a lot of great tips to help you do a successful MAMM pitch this year. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Joshua Lam, our lead creative producer, who's also a MAMM alumni and winner of previous years. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Lynn. Hi, everybody. I would love to go over what's new in MAMM this year, if you guys did not know already. So I'm going to go through a list, and you can have your scratch pad or whatever notes, and you can get ready to write them down if you want. So number 1, we got selected 8 teams of the 10-minute shorts will receive $1,000 per team. It's pretty awesome. Conditions do apply. Number 2, the submission period is actually 3 weeks away. That's from June 1st to the 24th of 2022. So you have till the 24th. So we have the regular submission period starting from like now until the 24th, and that's $60 for the 10-minute shorts, $15 for the 1-minute ultra shorts. 4. So for the 10-minute shorts, you must incorporate how you respond to the creative element representation into your pitch video. So if I were to expand on that, the idea of representation for MAMM's creative element is a broad exploration of stories from all aspects of life, showing representation in identity, ideology, preferences, taste, behavior, and much more. There's a lot of creativity you can have with that element. Number 5, for the 1-minute ultra shorts, MAMM is actually collaborating with the Eliminate Hate team from VAF, and it's to bring awareness to their Reclaim Your Name campaign. The theme of what's in a name must be reflected in your video and explained in your written pitch. If you want more details on that, it's in the information package. But if I were to relay it really quickly to you all wonderful viewers, a name can reflect one's identity, heritage, relationship to family, friends, colleagues, community, society, and much more. Names can also evoke dualities and complexities as people navigate moments of growth, self-exploration, and conflicts in their lifetime. This could be especially true for those who are Asian Canadian, of mixed ancestry, and gender diverse, for example. So I hope that can expand a lot more on the 1-minute ultra shorts. Number 6, the 10-minute short category will also require a video pitch as well. while the 1 minute ultra short category will also be going through an adjudication process based on a written pitch. So there's some key differences there. Number 7, all BC film production must follow communicable disease prevention protocols strictly, while any production occurring in other provinces should follow their own provincial health and safety guidelines. Again, things change all the time, so just be mindful of the protocols. Number 8, the MAMM mentorship program will be held in the form of webinars. So that those are going to be online for those who get through the pitch process. And number 9, this is a cool one. MAMM17 is open nationwide. Nationwide. Any Canadian or permanent resident can lead a team to enter from anywhere in the country and will be sponsored to travel here for the MAMM17 gala screening and awards presentation. So I think that's pretty awesome. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat bar and we'll get to them after our little sesh. Next, I would like to introduce Regina Leung, and she's no stranger to any of us. She's a MAMM producer and a director of the VAF industry program. Regina is going to tell us about the key dates, awesome prizes and promotions for MAMM17 this year.
Cool. Thank you, Josh. Awesome. All right. So let's start with the key date. As you know, we're already open on June 1st. And tonight is only a few more hours left for the early bird submission. If you still want to make the early bird. So tomorrow we'll be got back to a regular submission. And then the final closing date is June 24th. And then after that, on June 29, we will announce who is the contestants to make it to the MAMM, the 10 minutes team, and also the 1 minute team. So, and then during July 9th and 10th, we'll have the MAMM mentorship program, which is for the contestant teams. And then from that time, there's a 4 weeks time frame before they go on the competition. So they have 10 days to make their shorts, either 10 minutes or 1 minute. And then August 7th, they have to submit it. No excuse whatsoever. Not even past 11:59 p.m. period. So, and then we go for the final judging. And then on August 26th, that will be our big public screening at the Playhouse. So, and then all right, so what will they get for all the winning team? Besides, I think we mentioned it earlier about the 10 minutes team. Each of them will receive a $1,000 this year. Is double than last year. And then the 1 minute ultra short team will also receive a little something. You keep an eye on our website, then you'll get more information about that. And all the other discounts from sponsors, from vendors, it will be all on our website coming up soon. And whoever make it to the final screening, so they will be getting different awards, such as Best Short Film Awards for the 2 different categories, Best Director Award, Best Performance Award, Best Screenwriting Award, Best Cinematography Award, and then Best First Time Director Award. Plus, we love our fans, right? So we have the best, the People's Choice Award for the overall shots and also for the performers. So all these exciting awards are waiting for you guys to do the first step, submit your pitch video for that. Okay, so now I would like to introduce our newly creative producer this year that should join us, Penta Mosley. And what is that? She is the winner of the last year MAMM team with Switch City. So let's welcome Penta.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Regina. All right, so let's get into the MAMM mentorship. So to all the emerging filmmakers, to help them make the best film they can, MAMM offers top selected teams to take part in the MAMM mentorship program. In this program, qualifying teams will join specialized workshops by industry professionals and will be paired with one of the professionals as their team mentors. In the past, our instructors include Alfonso Chin for cinematography, the amazing Alex Chamku for on-set sound, Bob Woolsey for screenwriting, and many amazing mentors such as Andrew Chung, Neil Kalango, the Spear Sisters, Kyla Wachel, Anaisa Weiser, Kashif Pasta, Joel McCarthy, and our amazing producer from last year, Natch Dutsamaitha. And now I'm going to pass the virtual mic on to our amazing, wonderful MAMM director and co-producer, Lynn.
Hello, thank you very much, Panta. And thank you for joining us, Panta, as one of our new creative producers. And I wanted to mention, it's unfortunate that our other new join creative producer couldn't be with us tonight, and that is Moheb Jindran. So I am supposed to talk about the rules, but there's just too much to talk about. So I'm not gonna go into details, but please, yes, go down there. VAF.org is our website, /MAMM17 is the page where you can read all the details, and please download the info pack for your perusal. There are many, many pages of detail that you should read through, but one very important rule is that there has to be at least one Asian or mixed Asian key creative member in the creative team, and at least one Asian or mixed Asian person in the lead actor role. So in front and behind the camera, we have to have at least one Asian person. And this comes up a lot. You're not allowed to mix members. Like if you work on one MAMM team, you cannot work on another in the same category. But if you are working on and submitted a pitch for the 10-minute category, you can submit for the 1-minute category. So these are the two really major ones. The other major ones are the timeline, which Regina already very detailedly went through with you. So yeah, that is all from me. And what do we have now? I believe that we would like to invite all our members to join, our creative producers and Regina to join, because we would love to take questions if we have any. Hello, 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 everybody. All right. Hope everybody's really excited about this year's competition. This was also the first year we introduced an early bird submission for the first week, and I'm very pleased to say that I'm glad some folks took advantage of that. So we are now waiting to see if we have any live questions at the moment.
Hey guys, anybody? Any any questions, or was everything pretty clear?
There is a question I just saw.
Oh, you saw? I see Rachel saying.
I'm gonna read it out loud now.
Oh, there we go. Awesome, we got it.
I'm gonna read out Rosie Chu Pidcock's question.
Oh no, not that question.
Is Joshua wearing spandex on stage at the gala this year?
I vote yes.
I guess it's a request. I guess I have to fulfill it. Thanks, Rosie. All because of you. All because of you. I guess it's gonna be an annual thing.
We have questions.
Yeah, serious questions as well.
Serious question.
There you
go.
What is that? From Ted, can other member of a team be non-PR Canadian?
Okay, so I believe the question is no. I mean, the answer is no. We are, because the objective of MAMM is to support Canadian and Canadian residents. So the key creative team have to be Canadian and permanent residents. But you know, supporting teammates can be non-residents to join in the fund to support.
Okay, next question from Anna. What stands out to you in a pitch?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
And well, that's a really good question for Aaron, actually.
We have two alumni here, so from your experience, like from John,
Definitely story. Story is very important. If you have a good story, it's all that matters. There's many ways to obviously do a pitch video. You can do Aaron's going to get into it, talking head or like an elaborate pitch video. But number one, most important thing is story.
And if I were to add on to that, with conveying story, it's also making sure that you get through those beats, those story beats. I think is really important for us to really understand the arc and where you're going with the story as well, and just the way as you present it is also important too. So for me, not to say I'm pinpointing that it's only visual stuff, but again, it just has to. I enjoy things that supplement and come together quite nicely. So maybe I'm demanding too much. Maybe I'm already saying that I want it all. But no, again, what Panta said, story is very important, and then
Yeah.
is also equally as important.
And my tip is confidence. Be confident in your pitch. Let the judges know that you know what you're talking about, and you know how you're gonna make the story happen.
Echo to all. Next question. Here we go. What is that? From Jared.
Jared.
What is that? One behind front key creative means confirmed before pitching, or can we cast the lead after?
Good question. Things happen. So if you have to change your team, we understand, but we want to know that you have a solid plan in place when you go into the pitch.
Okay, and then next question.
Oh, sorry, if I can just supplement that. So if in your submission we find that somehow all the Asians disappeared, then you will also be disqualified.
Yeah, at the end, we will count every single pitch submission until the final submission to be part of the qualification, to be in the winning teams. So, and this one, do union actors have to fill out the UPCP form?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Regina.
Yes. And you should go check on UPCP website on the follow the rules precisely all the time, follow by them because they change constantly.
Yes.
So, yeah.
If you're a union, you have to do union papers, you guys.
Absolutely. And if you download the info pack, there's also a link on there to guide you to where to look.
Okay. All right. Next question. Will people need the script when they submit the pitch video? Guys. Joshua?
No, you don't. But it is if you do have something, it is a nice supplement. If you had any form, outline, if just anything, it's supplementary, right? So the requirement that we need is a pitch video. Everything else that you decide to submit is just additional stuff for us to look at. So.
Perfect.
But you are being judged from the pitch video. That's the most important thing.
Correct.
Okay, next one. This part is definitely for Panta. I know that Switch City has a very stylish pitch video. All the pitch videos like that.
Great
I
question.
guess it's a really good question. That goes back to, you can have pitches of any kind. Visual things are, of course, lovely to see. But if you're a talking head and your story is really strong, that's also, it's up to the jury. But I think a strong story comes first. But yes, Switch City had an extremely stylized even pitch video. It's Mohib's magic. That's what he does.
Maybe this is a good time to jump the gun a little bit, but if you're interested, we are actually going to be having a party at the My Tribe Media Mixer next week at ANZA, and we are going to show some successful pitch videos. So if you're interested, come to the party, and you will see.
And you get to see all the samples. Yes.
Next question. Oh, sorry, we did this.
I think one thing I was going to say, Afshin, I'm not sure, Michael Afshin, your name sounds like you could be Persian, and I apologize if you are. West Asians, if you are watching this, please do apply because Iran, Iraq, all the West Asian countries are part of Asia, and MAMM has the doors open for all Asian films, all kinds of diversity. So please do submit. And if you're non-Asian, you want to make a film, make sure you get an Asian lead in a leading acting role and an Asian lead in a creative role.
Mm-hmm. So the answer to Michael's question is yes.
And I apologize if I assumed you're Persian because your name sounds it.
I think I missed one question.
But it could be like a Lee.
We got Faye's question here.
Yeah. Can non-Canadian but Asian that hold study permits and work permit be part of the key creative?
Yeah, so we want to support Canadian creators. So as a key creative team member, you have to be Canadian or permanent resident. Sorry.
Perfect. Okay, this one. So you're allowed to submit the script as well at the pitch video? No, we don't. You can submit it after, but you once you pass the next step to be contested, then we'll go through the process because we bring in mentors to help you to develop the script as well.
Yeah, I might have jumped the gun by saying that you can. Pitch video only.
Good. Let's see. The next question is this one from Nick. So the stories can be both fictional short, but also non-fiction documentaries.
No, we actually have tightened the rules, and unfortunately, we are not accepting documentaries because to keep it fair for everybody, one of the key components that we judge on is story writing. So that kind of wouldn't make sense. So that's why we are not accepting documentaries.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So this is another question is
that one's for the when we talked about the My Tribe mixer.
Exactly. So if you go, we will list the link here after that, and but also if you go to Facebook event page, our Facebook,
our MAMM group,
our MAMM group, join the MAMM group, and also our VAF Facebook, and then you will see the link there. It's called what do they call My Tribe Mixer MAMM. Yeah. My Try Mixer MAMM event page. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Have a few more minutes.
Jenny dropped one last question at the bottom.
Yep. Here we go. Jenny asks, if you are an actor want to act in a film, where can we get in contact with potential team, hear about audition? Love you all.
Just want to give a shout out to Jenny. She's one of the most amazing, talented performers I've ever seen perform live. So cast her. Cast her before she's taken.
And you can also go on our MAMM group. So if you go on Facebook and search Mighty Asian Movie Making Marathon group, that's what it's called, right? You will find a group. It's a public group, and that's a great place for you to write down your crew calls, casting calls. It's a great community there.
And on top there's our website, MAMM17, and there's also the link to go to that groups as well to sign up. So, and you get a chance to meet as anyone have done them before or want to meet anyone in the industry to cast and crew in that group as well. So right now we are 6:25. Do we have any other question? I think we're good. So if we go to our next question, Lynn, then we'll be here for you.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
Okay, hold on. One question just popped up.
Okay, next question.
Last question.
I was wondering if we had an American involved. Are there any consideration writing for credit, etc.?
Yeah,
that's a creative role.
That is a main creative role. Yeah. So unfortunately, no, we won't be able to accept that.
Sorry, Michael. All right. And also in the future, if you guys have any question before the submission closing date, you can always email us at MAMM at vaf.org. And we're happy to respond to you for any way we can. Cool. All right. So now we're back to Lynn, and then maybe we'll bring Aaron.
Yeah, exactly. We're very excited to have with us a special guest, no stranger to VAF, Aaron Au from Bright Light Pictures, was a former judge for MAMM last year, and we're very excited. He's super supportive of our community, and he was also a former MAMM alumni. Back in the early days. And we're super excited to have him give you all some tips on how to pitch. So welcome, Aaron.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. And thanks for joining us, everyone. I apologize for the dungeon that I'm in and the poor lighting. And just be forewarned, we might get interrupted by a 4-year-old occasionally. But yeah, I'm just going to go over some kind of general pitch stuff, things that I personally like as someone who gets pitches all the time. And, and then we'll open up for questions because that's kind of, as I saw earlier, there's a lot of questions regarding pitching and stuff. So just in general, the one thing I like to tell people is that pitching is a skill in itself. So you can be an amazing writer, an amazing director, producer, or something like that, and be horrible at pitching. And just like for actors, auditioning is kind of a skill in itself as well. So a lot of actors will practice and learn and study how to audition because it's a very different type of acting compared to real acting. So think of pitching as the same thing. There's a lot of good books. There's a lot of good courses. There's a lot of good talks and TED Talks and all that kind of stuff on pitching. So think of it that way as, kind of something separate from filmmaking. And the great thing about MAMM is that they make you pitch. And that's an important thing because, if you've got a show idea or a movie or something like that, and you set up a coffee with me or any other development executive or producer, you're going to have to pitch. So it's something to practice, to know that it's a skill, learn and study about it. And another, I forget there's a famous book about pitching from the film industry perspective, but she pretty much says pitch all the time to anyone who'll listen. And, if you have an idea, practice pitching, see who's interested. If you pitch it and people kind of are cold on it, well, it's either a bad idea or a bad pitch. So you learn how to kind of adjust your pitch, or if your idea isn't catching on, then maybe you can find a way to change your story or get a different story or stuff like that. So pitch, practice, whether it's to yourself in a video and playing it back, or to your friends, to your mom, whatever. Pitch your ideas, and don't be afraid of people stealing your ideas because that's too much work. And I don't know. I always say don't worry about that kind of stuff. When you're actually pitching, here the best thing that I like is, obviously you guys are storytellers, is for you to tell a story. And think of pitching as going up there and telling a story. So structure your pitches as Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Set up, have some fun, and then have a payoff. And even maybe end with like a cliffhanger or something like that. So that's kind of like a structural thing that I like to see. And again, as storytellers, we naturally follow something that is kind of storytelling structure. So if we feel that we're going along a journey, like being told a fairy tale or being told, this great story that's going to have an ending, I'm going to be invested in the story. Whereas if I'm not sure where it's going, and it's kind of like maybe you gave away the whole thing in the beginning and there's no excitement for the end, I might kind of lose interest or something like that, where the story may be amazing, the film may be amazing, but the pitch structure kind of wasn't there. So, think about the same thing with making your movie or making your short. How are you going to entice your audience to pay attention, and what are you trying to say? I know that you guys touched on some stuff about Moab's pitch and the creativity. Yes, having a cool, flashy, high-end pitch, stands out. But if your story isn't there, if the idea of the character isn't there, if your personal connection to the material isn't there, you can put up Star Wars stuff and it's not gonna impress. Like they don't impress it. Like, wow, you can pull that off. But like Panta mentioned, story. It's all about story. We've seen flashy and if the story isn't there, if we don't understand what the story is, there really isn't much to go off of. So, make sure that you're really, honing in on what your story is, and then figure out a creative way to tell the story. So again, like Moab, as an example, his story is sci-fi. His story is this special, world. So they pitched to show that. And if they pitched and say, for example, I didn't know that they're capable of doing that, and it was just him talking about, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do 3D and it's going to look like this and stuff like that, I'm probably going to go, wow, that's a lot to bite off of in 10 days. I don't think they can pull it off. But because they showed it, they show that they can pull it off. So, it's good to, you don't want to do a cool CGI video for a comedy that has nothing to do with CGI just to try to impress is kind of what I'm saying. So finding something creative is it can be helpful, but as long as it's within context. So I'm going to share a story about a filmmaker who submitted to the Robert Wong Film Fund last year, which I was also a judge on. And she did something that stood out to me above everybody. And she ended up not winning the award. But because of how she pitched, I brought her in to have a meeting with me. We ended up talking about developing stuff together. I ended up hiring her in a writing room, and now we're developing and producing a web series for her. So what she did, and again, this is specific to her project, was this kind of retelling of a fairy tale. So instead of maybe making the fairy tale or her just talking, she actually just had a blank screen with essentially seeing a Word document. And she pitched her story, and as she told her story, it was writing. And I found that unique because, one, you hear the passion of the story in her voice, but you're also reading it as if we're reading a fairy tale. And that really just stood out to me as an interesting way to hook me. And I was hooked onto seeing literally what words are coming next. And it was as simple as that. I wanted to see what she was going to say and type next. And then on top of that, she had to do a little pitch about herself and her upbringing and why she likes film. And what she did was, instead of saying, hi, I'm so-and-so and I grew up this and I want to be a filmmaker, she did a whiteboard drawing where she drew out her, as she spoke, she drew out her kind of upbringing and kind of doodled her history and stuff. So again, nothing fancy, nothing crazy. It's her and her computer, but she came up with something that was unique to her story that made her stand out. So, you can look for something like that, where it's maybe, if you're, again, who knows, bad example, your story is about a character who's walking through a neighborhood and, stuff happens. So maybe your pitch is you walking through that neighborhood, kind of explaining as it goes and showing, it's a story about, a delivery person, and they go from store to Chinatown and this and this. Again, bad example, but finding what's unique about your story and then finding a unique angle to pitch it. Aside from, kind of, I don't want to, gimmick is a bad word, but again, finding a unique way to pitch is good. But also, there are people who are actually great storytellers and great pitchers who could be like this, picture a person in front of a screen just talking. And if your story and your believability in your story and your passion for your story can come through, I love that. Again, like that's as if you come into my office, sit down in front of me and tell me a story that I just say, we have to make this movie. That's also very powerful too. So don't feel the need that you have to go do something gimmicky and something like that. If you are confident, if you know your story, if you know all of that kind of stuff, then you can be fully confident with being a talking head in front of a screen. Last couple of things I have. Don't be afraid to draw comparisons. It's the best way to, quickly convey what your show is going to be like. It's Kung Fu Hustle meets The Sopranos. Again, bad example. But it does help kind of paint a picture. Now, just be careful with doing that because one, if you use the most iconic shows in the world, then you're setting the bar high for yourself. And two, if it's too crazy, like Kung Fu Hustle meets Sopranos, I don't know which parts of Kung Fu Hustle and which parts of Soprano it is. So then maybe you want to be specific. It's the crazy comedy and slapstick style of Kung Fu Hustle meets the raw family drama of Sopranos or something like that. So that's something that you can use as a tool to help kind of set up your world, especially if you don't have a long period of time to pitch. I think that's kind of all I've got in the general pitching. There's courses, there's books, there's not, I don't have enough time to kind of talk about everything. So if there's any specific questions, we can open it up and go from there.
Thank you, Aaron. So let me have bring everyone back here to see if we'll see any questions coming in from our audience at this point. Okay, so far, no. Okay, let's see. I think Josh didn't know that he's on screen.
Oh, hi, everybody. I literally just had other mammers, people who want to just message me personally on text and everything.
Do they have any specific question for the
How
pitch?
to submit their pitch is what they're asking.
Yeah, they're doing it secretly. They want to evade all these other oh no, I got another one. Nope, nothing about questions. They are just talking about other things about MAMM that don't need to get mentioned here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we always ask about the questions. A lot of questions coming in is always asked about what do the judge is looking for. But this is pretty hard to answer that because every year we have different judges, and then we also have different criteria from the judge point of view. So, if Aaron can elaborate a little more or tell us like from your point of view, and then we go from there.
Yeah, as coming in to judge these types of things, we obviously, take into consideration what the program guidelines are, which, for me, MAMM was like I had done 48-hour film festivals, 24-hour film festivals, all that kind of stuff. And then that was many, many, many years ago, even before I did my MAMM. And I kind of swore off doing them because for me in 24 hours and 48 hours, it was just tough to make a good film. And that's why when the idea of doing a MAMM came up, I thought it was great because you have more time, and there's not like, you don't have to incorporate a song and an item and a word and a line and a character. Like there's a lot of these things have many, many different things that you have to incorporate. So, it really just kind of gives you a theme, and then, you make your story based off of that and whatever your interpretation is of that. So again, we look to see how you interpreted and implemented whatever the theme is. We also look to see, can you make it? Like again, going back to Moeb, if he pitched it and I hadn't seen what he could do, and he says we're going to do this VFX and this and this and that, I would probably go, I don't know if these guys can make it. Like, do we give them a chance, or do we, let someone else in who we know is going to be able to complete their film? And that's something that, like, you'll eventually learn when you get to the, feature film world and, television world. It's, can you actually make this? You have a movie and you say, hey, I can do this for $2 million. Then the investors say, well, yeah, we can give you $2 million, but can you really do it for $2 million? Like, do you need 5? Are you going to have to come back to us later and say, I couldn't finish it? It's the same thing, that perspective for us. It's like, okay, you have 10 days. Can you do it in 10 days? Or are you going to come at the end and go, I couldn't finish, right? And then you're, if that in the event that happens, you're disqualified, and it's kind of a waste for everyone, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think we just take into everything into consideration of, can the team pull it off? Is it a unique idea? Does it fit within the guidelines of the program, and all that kind of stuff?
Cool, great. So we have few questions coming in. Let's start with this one. So this is from Michael. He said, "Hey, Aaron, how often these pitches take place? Is it yearly?" So not sure he is asking for MAMM or for maybe for what you mentioned from your company. So
I think it's probably for the company. We constantly take submissions. There's no deadlines. There's no annual anything. So as I say, on anytime I'm involved with anything with MAMM and VAF, my email is out there. It's aaron@brightlightpictures.com. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions just like that. Like, how do I pitch to you? And, what does it take? And all that kind of stuff. Happy to answer and, spend a little bit of time to tell you kind of how it works. And that's one of the things that a lot of people feel with a company like Brightlight. It's a big company. They feel intimidated. They don't know how to approach, and they think it's this big, scary Hollywood type thing. It's like, no, we're all here. We're all willing to talk. And, for us, it's finding the new talent, and it's finding the great stories. So, everyone here, that's you guys. So I encourage everyone to reach out to me if you've never met me. Obviously Josh and Panta are examples of that. If you guys don't know, Josh, after he was moderating one of the first ones that I did with VAF, and he reached out and said, this is what I like to do, and all this kind of stuff. And now he's working with me. He did the CMPA program, and now he's assisting me with developing stuff like that. So, reach out and you say, whether it's just a straight idea, or if you've got a pitch, you can just tell me where you're at, and then I can kind of guide you of what you need to do.
Okay, cool. That's amazing. That's all this opportunity. Guys, listen, remember that. We'll put we'll leave his email on the link, and then everyone can look at it. If you don't mind, Aaron, then at least someone can grab the email address from the podcast. Okay, next question. And can we have a representative to pitch by your story, my story? So, Josh, you want to answer that?
Can we have a representation? Can we have a representative to pitch your story? That's a good question. I believe you can. Am I right?
If it's the writer or the director or the producer, maybe?
Yeah, the lead creative team members can be in pitching on that video.
I had to go through a codex of all the pitch videos in my brain for a quick second. Yes, you're allowed to.
All right. And then next question. This is a long one. Hi, MAMM team and Aaron. In the 3 minutes that we have, would you say it's more important to prioritize conveying the story than touching on things like cinematography or overall vision of how we are going to bring it to life?
Yes. Story. Focus on your story. And again, you can draw an example. It's going to have the visual style of Juno. The story is about Go. And automatically I know what Juno kind of looked like, or you can be like, oh, it's got the grittiness of the gritty visuals of True Detective. It's going to be a story about then Go. There you can find a way to convey the cinematography, the look and feel, and all that kind of stuff very, very quickly. Now, if the visual style is very important. Again, film noir, black and white, that kind of stuff, or one take show, or long takes or things like that. Then it's important, obviously, to mention it. But those are, again, to me, those are the bells and whistles to your story. They are going to make your story better. But if your story is not good to start with, it doesn't matter how many bells and whistles you have no story. So it really depends. I know there's not a real answer, but it really depends on what your story is and what those visuals do to your story. Do they enhance your story? Then talk about it. If they don't too much, then I wouldn't worry so much about it.
Great. Okay, let's see this question. Okay, that is related to our theme for this year. So we explained the detail about what does that mean by representation. Instead of we explain it here, just in case we missed the viewpoint, I would say go download the info package. That's the clear black and white to explain to you what is the representation mean for that. But we can, should we elaborate more, a little bit more, Josh, that we've mentioned of the representation here, or just go direct to our info package and then
I think let's go. I think just go directly to our info package, because what I said earlier about representation was taken straight from the info package. So it's a very broad statement, and you can use that creatively. It's your creative element. You can put what representation is to your story.
What I think Jackie's asking from that is, what are you looking for in a pitch when it comes to the theme representation? So the guideline is there of what it should and shouldn't be. In your pitch, when you're talking about your story, you can kind of key in for us of, this is what it means for representation in my story, or this is, so-and-so does this, and this is the outcome. And that's really what it means about the representation in our story, so that you're keying in the theme of your story in relation to the theme of the competition. That just helps us go, oh, okay, I see how they're matching it together.
Great. Next question. How many pitches get chosen? So for the 10 minutes team, the rules is we will pick the final 8 teams to be in the 10-minute short category. For the 1-minute ultra short, that is, we haven't had that final decision yet, so it's kind of leave it open. And but in the past few years, that we have 10 contestants in that 1-minute ultra short before, so that's based on the history that we have. And then any other questions that we have here? Okay. Not at this moment. So, okay. We are like almost towards the end. So, maybe Aaron, any final 3 top 3, then advice, then give it to the team. How do they pitch?
Oh, that's tough. There's so many different things. Be prepared. Practice. And the great thing is they're video pitches. So, if you didn't like it, you can delete it. When I did it, I had to pitch in person. So there's, you only get one shot. But again, you can video edit, you can cut around things. Actually, on a note about editing, if you're doing a talking head video, you can talk, cut to another piece, talk, cut to another piece. That's totally fine. But make sure that if you do it, try to do stuff where, like, maybe you change camera angles a little bit, or, make it fluid, like a crossfade or something, so that it doesn't feel like, oh, maybe they screwed up talking and they cut to another take, right? Like, it's totally fine that if you cut around things, but just try to make it, again, creative, artistic, feel natural. Because if there's anything jarring in a pitch, it's gonna turn us off. Like, if they can't even cut together a pitch video and make it seamless and transitional, then how are they going to make a film? So Josh is putting my email there. Thank you very much. There's another question that came up that's not in my category, but feel free to address it.
Cool. So it's from Lillian. They say, for the $1,000 of the price for the contestant, do I have to find my own crew and own actors? Anyone want to answer this big question? We can see our head nodding. Absolutely.
The answer is yes.
Absolutely yes. Well, like what we mentioned earlier, if you go on the Facebook group for MAMM, and it has a lot of resources there. You put it out there as long as you list it, what you're looking for your cast and your crew, and you list it out there, list your synopsis when you get to be one of the top 10 contestants, and then list it out. Someone will, maybe they will be interested and they will contact you to apply it. Everyone support each other in this community, right?
Very, very supportive group of filmmakers on MAMM. As Josh calls us, MAMMily, MAMM family.
Yes, join our family.
And Lillian, you've been a quite a. Oh, yep. Sorry, Aaron. Go ahead.
No, I was going to just say one note. There are a lot of filmmakers that make it, and there are a lot of filmmakers that don't. This is just a general industry career kind of thing. Don't feel bad if you didn't make it. Keep going. Go make your film on your own or do something like that. Again, you're still able to reach out to me. Again, that example of that other filmmaker that had the great pitch that didn't win, they only gave out one. Well, originally it was one, and they ended up awarding 2 prizes for that contest. And she wasn't one of them. But in my eyes, she's going to be the most successful out of the group, maybe because I saw something else in her and I got to meet her, and now we're developing projects together. So, don't be discouraged if you don't make it. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means maybe that there was too many good projects, which in that one, like the 2 projects that won the other thing were great. They were just different than what I do. They were more documentary reality based. But it doesn't mean that, you're not good enough. So, expect to get no's in our industry. That's a standard thing. All the actors know that one.
Fantastic advice. Thank you so much, Aaron, for your lovely advice, and thank you so much for your time, for being here. We have come to the end of our program, and we're super excited that our other creative producer, who I thought could join us.
I made it just in time. Just in time for it to end.
So because tonight is a kickoff, we're super excited, a virtual kickoff. So I really wanted to be able to have all the creative producers and producers present. So this is special. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the audience watching, and for everybody who will be watching. Lots of people will watch the feed when it goes on Facebook, and you can still watch this video online on our Facebook page. Regina, you were going to say something?
That's actually one more question. We want to take one more question.
Okay, we'll do one more question since we are still a bit early. Okay.
So I'm Lillian, and let's say, are we only allowed to start the film production in the 10 days that is chosen by MAMM?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really great question. The competition period is the actual filming period. Throughout your mentorship program, it will also guide you on what you need to prepare. You are going to finish your script and finalize your script before the 10 days, but all the filming, the actual production and post-production has to be completed within the 10 days. So you can get all your cast ready and all the prep work before the July 29th.
That's it. That's all.
Okay. All right. I guess we will call it wraps. So thank you again for joining. We are really excited. Tonight is a virtual kickoff, but next week we are really excited to actually have a live kickoff. Please join us next Thursday, June 16th. At My Tribe Mixers MAMM at the Anza Club to learn more about MAMM17 and this live interview with our MAMM alumni, Joshua Aries. He was the best director of MAMM16, so he'll be giving talk, and we'll also be showing some pitch videos, as I mentioned earlier. So this would be a great opportunity for you to firsthand see some successful pitches and also talk to other MAMMers and network and potentially meet your MAMM teams at the event. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you attend the event, you get a chance to win a free submission and discount for your submission as well. So we are entirely organized by and produced by a group of dedicated volunteers. Please make a donation at vaf.org if you would like to support us. I'm also very, very honored that we have our presenting sponsor, Telefilm Canada, to support us this year. So without them, we can't put on a great program and give you $1,000. So again, thank you again, Aaron. And thank you so much to our lead creative producer, Joshua, and our creative producers, Panta, Mohab, and our producer, Regina, for being here and making all of this happen. And special thanks to all our VAF volunteers. Best of luck, everyone. Can't wait to see your pitches.
So excited.
Yes, June 24th is the deadline. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Good night.